IT, engineers, and accountants. Here's your plan as you were not invited for the 189 round. Recently, we've seen IT occupations, accounting occupations, and engineering occupations not being invited. There were 0 of these occupations, generally speaking, invited in the June 4th round. That doesn't mean it won't happen in the future, but we got to work out a plan. So firstly, your plan, if you're not invited for the 189, can you be invited for the state nominated 190 or 491? The states and territories have a different list of requirements about who can get an invitation. The states, for example, really prefer if you're living and working in Australia, and potentially they have other requirements like the salary that you earn and things like that. So they put a focus not on points, but on other factors. So that's crucial because that means if you're not invited for a 189, maybe you could be invited for a 190 or 491. The process is exactly the same. You still need to lodge an expression of interest, request an invitation. So make sure you've updated that and given yourself the best possibility of being invited for state nomination. Step 2, employer sponsorship. So all of these occupations are still on the core skills and medium to long-term list. So what this means is that if you're not invited for the skilled independent or state nominated, your employer can still sponsor you for a 482 skills in demand visa, or if you've got the experience already, they could potentially sponsor you for the permanent 186 employer sponsored visa as well. So we're seeing a lot of applicants move on to a 485, for example, be on there, be working for an employer, not be invited, and then the employer can look to sponsor their visa and then create a pathway to PR through there as opposed to being invited straight for a 189. The next step is the complete pivot. Honestly, this happens all the time. So for example, if your skills and education aren't getting you invited, aren't in demand in Australia, why not pivot to an occupation that is? If you're open to studying, you can become skilled and educated in an occupation that's in demand in Australia. If you're overseas, for example, maybe you could look to study a course like a trade, teaching, social work, nursing, etc., which will get you skilled and educated in an occupation. If you want an example of someone who did this, check out the testimonial for Lee, who had no background in carpentry, studied the course and created a PR pathway there. Or if you're on a 485 visa and you still have time, you could potentially follow the steps of Al Jihad, who took a very short plastering course and then obtained a full skill assessment as a plasterer, even though he studied an IT occupation. Ultimately, I'm just giving you these examples to let you know that even if you were not invited the first time or you're not being invited for the 189, it's important to have backup options. The more options you have, the more chance of being invited. If you want to discuss your situation in detail, jump in line, book in for a consultation with one of our migration agents, and we can work out a strategic plan for you.